all-new Halloween Spooktacular episode of WandaVision.
This show is so meta. Like, right down, they were even quipping about, brother pops in for the holiday special. Like, just, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Before we go any further, I realized
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Before we go any further, I want to say something that I remembered, which makes a lot more sense now. In the first episode, Vision's boss and his wife were over for dinner.
The Hearts, yeah.
Yeah. Mrs. Hart. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. She broke. That wasn't, that was her actual person pleading with Wanda to stop holding them in this world.
Yeah, they all seem to know that it's Wanda doing it.
Yeah.
On their, when they come to.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what happened where she all of a sudden came to.
Yeah, it's not like anything in particular triggered Wanda in that moment that I can recall.
Mr. Hart started choking.
Right, but
it was the questions like, where are you from? When'd you meet? All that stuff.
Yeah, maybe that's what threw her off.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
So. All right. So then, Vision telling Wanda, you made no effort to conceal your ability. There's that whole thing. Also, Pietro.
Yes, Pietro.
So the episode starts, and it's Malcolm in the Middle opening, which I never watched that show, so.
It was the credits, text, like the font was dead on, the music was similar. It was...
So
I might show you the opening later on, you'll appreciate it.
So, 90s. Oh, and they're talking to the camera. Still very Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, every episode started with Malcolm talking to the camera, setting up the episode.
Also Billy looks like a tiny Ben Shapiro.
He does.
And I think Tommy? Billy is the quieter one, right? So Tommy is the one that has the super speed, and Billy is the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. Billy, I keep thinking it's going to be that one Lucas kid from the React. I don't know why.
I can see that.
Yeah. Anyway. So it's Halloween, Abby. Pietro's in town, and it's played by the guy who's playing Pietro now was the guy that played Quicksilver in X-Men.
Right.
Same actor.
Right.
Obviously not the same actor who played Quicksilver in Age of Ultron.
Right.
It's very interesting.
It is.
So, and he's being like the cool man-child uncle sort of thing, like corrupting the children, whatever. So Wanda comes down dressed up in like the Scarlet Witch, like red leotard, tights or cape, and the Scarlet Witch headdress.
Mm-hmm.
What are you supposed to be? She says she's dressed as a Sokovian fortune teller. Whatever that means. Pietro drops a childhood memory. And Wanda's like, I'm not sure that's how that happened.
Yeah. I remember it differently.
Yeah. Vision comes down dressed in like a cartoonish, like a... Not cartoonish, but like... It's him with the green and the gold and the red painted face.
Right, yeah.
So it's himself, but like
dressed as
like cheap costume himself.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
and Wanda's like, "Oh, you dressed in that," and he's like, "It's the only thing that was in the closet."
ha 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 ha.
Yeah, and he says it in a very, "I know what you're doing," but Wanda keeps playing it off like the show.
Mm-hmm. I like Pietro. What are you supposed to be? Stoplight? Yeah.
That's funny.
So, but then she's like, they say something like, "Oh, Mexican wrestler."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Chili con carne.
So, they're gonna go trick or treating with their boys, and Vision has other plans. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna, I've got to patrol and protect the trees from the toilet paper," and she's like, "But it's their first Halloween," which establishing like
Again,
how time is moving.
they're all just completely admitting and open about the weird passage of time thing that's happening.
Yeah. So Vision has other plans than Wanda's plan. Wanda starts to say, "You're not supposed to." Vision, what? I'm not supposed to what?
Yeah, he's acting outside of her will, and she's taken aback. But she's like, "Nothing, you." Because Pietro then steps up and says, "I'll take the kids around trick or treating." She's like, "Okay, do your thing."
Yeah. Also, they're all dressed in their actual comic book get-ups. Quicksilver.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Outside of the Hex, Hayward is arguing with Monica and company. He wants to kill Wanda, and Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy very much disagree.
Vehemently, I would say.
Yes. So he banishes them. Said Monica doesn't know what it was like.
During the blip.
Yeah. It's like,
says some really messed up stuff, like,
it's a good thing your mother died 3 years ago.
"It's a good thing you weren't here for your mother's death. You clearly
Yeah.
don't have the stomach for this."
Yeah. It's like, Rick?
Yeah, like, number one, asshole. Number two, what? What does that have to... Huh?
And I know that actor. I know I've seen him in something, and I'm just not placing it. I'm gonna have to look it up. So they're getting shunted. And, oh shit! Jimmy Kung Fu!
Yeah.
Kung Wu!
They're Kung Wu. They're getting taken away, and then Jimmy starts kicking ass.
Like, dude.
The actor's been waiting for that.
Uh-huh. So they fight back.
In a very coordinated way, like, he and Monica clearly planned this.
And Darcy's like, "Why didn't anyone tell me how was the plan?" I low-key love Darcy. So back inside the Hex, Wanda and Pietro are taking the kids around, and she asks Pietro why he looks different, and he says, "You tell me."
It's like, this is your thing, right?
Yeah. And, I mean, he is being, like, straight up talking, like, no bullshit. Like, he knows
Everything.
everything.
But,
How?
right. But he's also like, I'm just playing the part. Like, he's...
Yeah, he dropped that, I'm just, the crazy one-off holiday special
Yeah.
uncle that shows up.
So he's self-aware, knows everything that's going on, but also deferring to Wanda.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's real weird.
Which is like Agnes did at the start of the last episode, like, she was taking it from the top.
Right, good point.
Yeah. Which we'll get to her.
Yeah.
Wanda sees Herb.
Because there's a fucking H in it.
Like, he's on patrol, and he's getting, he's got the earpiece in, like, oh, there's, candy being stolen, and pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns being smashed, and everyone's covered in silly string, and
Meanwhile, behind him,
yeah,
you're seeing Quicksilver zipping around doing all those things.
because
Crazy uncle.
He's a man-child.
He's a man-child, yeah. Can't say I wouldn't do something similar if I had powers like that.
You are Crazy Uncle Joe.
That I am.
Your oldest nephew is graduating high school this year.
Yeah. It's funny you call me Crazy Uncle Joe. Andrea sent me a text today. Saw some Hawaiian shirts and she took pictures. She was like, Crazy Uncle Joe shirts. I haven't heard that name in a while. It's a name I haven't heard in a long, long time.
So, Wanda's like, well, how's Vision doing on the patrol? And he's like, Vision isn't on patrol. So now she knows that Vision lied about, neighborhood duty, watch duty.
Mm-hmm.
And she's, a little taken aback by that. And Herb says something interesting. There's something I can do, Wanda? Something you want changed?
Yeah. Again, acting like they're all playing to the part, trying to make this world work.
Yeah. They're starting to break character, but it's so weird.
And it's quick. They'll break character briefly and then just go back to be like,
oh, yeah, no, gotta go. Take care of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So then, meanwhile, oh no. I thought I lost my glove and I didn't. So meanwhile, we jump to Vision, and he's getting more on the outskirts, and he sees a woman and her husband in this weird loop. Like, she keeps, and we saw this in the trailer, she keeps hanging up.
Trying to hang up a decoration.
Yeah, and she just keeps doing the same thing over and over, and her husband is putting something down.
Oh, I didn't even notice her husband.
Yeah, in the background.
Okay.
And we see she's got a tear coming down, and she looks, like, super concerned.
Right. Kind of disturbed, but frozen.
Yeah. And then we get a commercial.
Commercial break.
Very, very different commercial.
Oh my gosh.
So it was that kind of claymation style that they had back in the 80s. Like, kid on a desert island, he's so hungry. A shark comes out.
Surfing up.
Yeah.
You need to solve some extreme hunger kind of a thing.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm so hungry. The kid's, I'm so hungry. And, oh, I know how that feels. I was like you. Then I took this Yo Magic yogurt, and now I can hang 10. Here you go, little dude. Like, he gives him the yogurt. And then
dips out.
Dips out, and then the claymation kid's like, and he's trying to open the yogurt, and he can't.
Because he's starving, and he's too weak, and he can't open it.
He can't open it, and you see him, like
time
decay.
Passes, and he's trying to open it, and he slowly, it's really graphic.
He's decaying, and all of a sudden he's a skeleton, like...
Yeah, he could never open the yogurt. And it's just like... And then it ends like...
Yo Magic!
Yo Magic. And did I write down the tagline?
No.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was. No, I'm not going to remember.
It was something like, something about to survive, I think, right?
Yeah.
Something about surviving.
Eat it to survive or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It got me simultaneously nostalgic and really creeped out.
Mm-hmm. Basically, and I think the tie-in would be, it kind of goes back to those people who are looping. The kid was doing that.
Until he died.
Like, they need her magic to survive, but
They're the forgotten.
Yeah.
They're not the ones that are important to the story.
And I'm going to go a little bit off track here because it got me thinking theologically. Wanda's created this world, right? She didn't create the life inside it, but she did create the world, and she created the persons, essentially, the characters. But they can only act in character as long as she's thinking about them, or somehow acting on them. Which is very much like God. If for some reason God stopped thinking about you, you wouldn't exist anymore. But God can do that. Wanda's still just a person, just a human. So her awareness is limited. So those people on the outskirts start to default and break down. Ooh, that was dangerous.
Yes. Stop altogether.
Yeah.
So we go back to Pietro and the twins at the movies. Or they're not at the movies, but they're walking past a movie theater, and the marquee has The Incredibles and The Parent Trap. So, Incredibles, obviously, it's the Disney Pixar movie about superheroes and a superhero family. And The Parent Trap was about twins, identical twins, but who are trying to get their parents back together. Nice little drop there.
Very poignant, but
the Parent Trap definitely came out in the 90s. We're talking like young Lindsay Lohan, so like late 90s, probably 90, anywhere between 97. Man, I think I'd even go so far as to say maybe 2000.
Really? Don't have to look it up. 90s, though.
Late 90s, maybe early aughts.
Okay.
Maybe.
Not at the same time as The Incredibles, though.
Right. The Incredibles was 2004.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Siri.
Uh-huh.
When did The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan come out?
The Parent Trap was released July 20th, 1998.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
98. 6 years between these two movies. So, Parent Trap makes sense to be on the marquee.
Incredibles doesn't.
No.
Again, the titles are poignant, but I think it's also indicating that her awareness of time is breaking down as well.
Because let's face it, 90s and 2000s, late 90s to early 2000s for us just kind of
blur a bit.
Yeah.
It's all basically separated by 9/11.
Right.
Pre and post.
Yeah. I mean, I graduated high school in 2002, so 90s kid for sure. But, yeah. Anyway, so that's interesting. I'd be very interested to see what New Rockstars has to say about that.
Yep.
I wonder if they're going to go in the same direction. But, so Pietro and Wanda are talking, and he says, I'm just trying to do my part. And,
that's where he drops the line, okay.
Yeah, so she's like, why don't you have an accent anymore? Why don't you?
Yeah. And we pointed that out last time that she came out.
Yeah.
When she exited the hex, she had her accent back.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of indicating that she's even fooling herself.
Right. So then all of a sudden, Billy has super speed.
Yeah.
Like Uncle Pietro. It's a,
You all right, Billy? It's not the Ben Shapiro kid.
Oh, no, so it's Tommy. Tommy has... Yeah, you wrote Billy, but it's Tommy has the super speed. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, you can use it, but you have to take your brother. Don't go past Ellis Avenue. Ellis, Ellis. Okay.
And they repeat it back to her like it's something she's told them over and over and over again. Never, ever go past Ellis Avenue.
Gallus Island.
Why do I know that word? Or that? Why do I know that?
It's where the immigrants
Ah. Okay.
came through. So back outside the Hex, Monica and company hack Sword's security system. Hayward, they see that Hayward is tracking Vision. So we cut to Vision, where he is.
I want to point something out there. They're like, why is he tracking Vision? Clearly, Hayward's entire interest in all of this is just recovering his robotics.
Yeah.
That's the entire reason why he's interested in all of this, is what I'm assuming based on that little tidbit.
Yeah. And we'll get back to that. Oh, I've got something to say about that, but we'll
Okay.
get there. So we jump back to Vision. He's on the edge of town, and the people are barely moving. Like, they're not even moving.
Yeah.
I
They're not even looping. They're basically just completely frozen.
Yeah, they're completely frozen. I spotted I spotted a girl dressed in a Bumblebee costume, which was clearly the Bumblebee girl on the Blind Melon, well, on their cover and in their music video. All I can say is that
My life is pretty plain. Yeah, and then the next slide.
Yeah. So that was a costume from that
Oh, really?
music video, yeah.
Ha! That's funny.
90s.
I wouldn't-
Very early 90s, like 93, I want to say, but...
I would not have known that.
Something about rain, but... Anyway, and then he comes across Agnes in a car.
Yeah, because he goes full Vision.
Yeah.
After he realizes everyone's frozen, he's like, okay, screw this charade. Goes to full Vision mode. Flies up and just kind of looks around, observes the city, and does like a super hearing thing. And he sees a car stopped at a stop sign.
Yeah.
So he goes there and it's Agnes.
And she's like, where's the something on the square? And he's like, at the square. She says, in a very kind of monotone,
Disengaged
disengaged
kind of
way. I took a wrong turn and I got lost. He says, you got lost in a town that you grew up in. So he wakes her up.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're Vision.
You're one of the
You
Avengers.
were the Avengers. He's like, yes, I'm Vision. But what's an Avenger? She's like, am I dead? No, why would you be dead? Because you're dead. Because you're dead. Because you're dead. And she keeps saying it.
More emphatically over and over.
Yeah. And she's like, Wanda won't let us leave. And then she starts laughing maniacally. Now, interesting to note, she's dressed as a witch.
Mm-hmm. Her laugh was very witchy.
Yeah. And that was a very confusing scene for me. And I can't decide if she really is under some kind of Wanda's spell or whatever, or she's just playing a part really well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to make of that. So she's laughing maniacally, and Vision kind of freaks a bit, and he
Puts her back.
puts her back, and, oh, hi, neighbor, and I better get going. And she turns around. She had been stopped. I mean, then we see that she was stopped at Ellis Street. So then back outside the Hex.
And you can see that Ellis Street is basically the end of the line. Like
Yeah, you can see the barrier.
Yeah, there's no roads beyond it, just a field and the barrier.
Yeah. So then back outside the hex, Monica wants to go back in. Darcy says that she can't go back in because crossing the threshold changes her cells on a molecular level. Because she accessed Monica's medical records.
Yeah, and they ain't blank.
No.
Hayward has her blood work, has her medicals, and it shows that her whatever molecular structure science things changed basically each time she went through.
Entering and exiting.
Yeah.
So, setting up a superhero scenario.
Which we know she becomes one.
Yeah.
And she's like, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. She's like, no, I know how... Well, and she says something interesting. You know, like, Darcy shows her this, map out of her blood work, and Monica's like, I've seen so much blood work. Tumorous, metastasized. I know how Wanda feels. I have to get back in there and talk to her.
Yeah.
So she knows that all of this is just a result of Wanda's grief. You know, she's not doing this on a malicious level per se. She's just suffered so much tragedy. Her parents, her brother, Vision, getting blipped out and coming back, and then just, the entirety of Endgame, like...
Yeah,
she's suffering.
She's broken.
And you don't want someone with her powers to be that emotionally broken.
And you also don't want to go try to kill her because she's going to become angry.
Yes.
So.
You won't like me when I'm angry. Red, green.
Yeah.
And she's... Yeah. So... Monica says that her way back in is coming. So she and Jimmy go to meet them, and Darcy's like, I'm going to stay here. I'm really close to cracking this firewall that I think is going to show us something big that Hayward is hiding. So she's like, all right, well, I'll tell you where the drop is, and come meet us when you can.
And whenever characters say something like that, you know something's going to go horribly wrong.
Yep. So then back inside the hex, Wanda and Pietro are talking, and he talks about their parents. Like, oh, Westview is so nice, and I think our parents would like it. And then he says the thing that I'm like, why didn't I notice this before? He's like, where were you hiding all these kids? Because it's Halloween. And there's a ton of kids around.
And there's been this underlying thing where
For the children.
For the children, but there's never been another child shown in this world except for their kids.
And they all come out of Halloween.
Yeah.
Even at the end of the last episode when Wanda and Vision were arguing, he's like, where are all the children?
Yep.
There's a park. I pass it every day walking into work. There's never any children there. It seems like our children are the only children in this town. And now all of a sudden...
Children. Everywhere.
And Wanda's like, what are you talking about? Pedro's pressing her for information. How'd you do all this? He's like, you can talk to me.
Yeah.
So
I'm not your husband. I'm not... I'm your brother. You can talk to me.
But it makes me, he looks different. It's like, was he sent in?
Right.
Because she wasn't expecting him.
No. Her brother was brought up recently, before he appeared. So the timing is interesting, because it seems like when somebody calls Wanda out on something, suddenly it happens, and you assume it's Wanda's doing. But she seems genuinely confused and taken aback by Pietro.
Yeah.
Still happy to see him, but confused.
Very confused. So he's asking her, how'd you do all this? She's like, I don't remember. I just remember feeling alone. Completely alone. And that was huge, because that is a big indication of why she's doing what she's doing. Endgame, and I'd have to, we'll be rewatching Endgame at some point. But, everyone else got closure. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if she was at Tony's funeral. Do we know? Well, obviously, this is, a few weeks after the events of Endgame. But at what point did she go completely nuclear?
Yeah.
So, and she's looking at him. Oh, sorry, you were going to say something.
Oh, she asks him, "How did you come back?" And he says something like, "I just remember feeling pain and then hearing your voice, and I knew you needed me, so here I am."
Yeah. And then she looks at him, and dead Pietro flash.
Dead Pietro flash. Like
bullet, bleeding, dead face,
Yeah.
Vision, and she did the same.
Yeah.
Are you okay? I'm fine.
What?
You tell me after dead Pietro flash.
Darcy Uber Elite Hacksaws. You're not familiar with such? No?
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Uber Elite means I'm really good at computers. And hacksaws. It's internet speak stuff. Nerd stuff. Darcy is Uber Elite Hacksaws. Because she's good at hacking, is what it means. I'm Uber Elite. So Uber Elite. What a glorious feeling. I'm hacking again. Okay.
So, yes, she's very good at hacking. And she hacks in.
I'm so alone.
She sees, Vision, the tracking of Vision, she sees he's at the wall. She's like, the fuck? So she runs out. Vision starts walking to the boundary. He pushes through, and then he starts getting ripped apart. And she runs up like he's falling apart. Would you help him? And they handcuff her to a Humvee.
Like you do.
Humvee. Something. Car. She's
Car.
handcuffed to a car. So as Vision is being ripped apart, Billy hears him. And actually, Billy, the other twin, the not fast twin.
Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, he can hear Vision. Runs to Wanda. Mom, I can hear Dad, and
I think he's dying.
I think he's dying. Where is he? I see soldiers, and she goes full Scarlet Witch mode, pauses everyone, and she starts pushing out the boundary. But before all that, Pietro drops.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like your dead husband can die twice. Wham!
Boom! She just blasts him.
Yeah. So she starts pushing the hex outward.
It encapsulates Vision.
Darcy.
Well, Vision first, because he was right there, and he materializes, essentially. Mm-hmm. So clearly he does not exist well outside the boundary like other people do.
No, because he's dead.
Shocking.
But then she also swallows up Sword Peeps, Darcy. Aw, fuck.
Aw, fuck! The Sword Peeps all turn into...
Clowns.
Yeah. And you see, like, their technology, like a helicopter turns into a hot air balloon, and it's doing the boundary thing.
One of the vans turns into, like, a food truck sort of thing. Monica and Jimmy are driving away to meet her contact. And she's like, see what's going on behind us? It's getting bigger. Book it. Jeez it. And then you got Hayward and the two other people in his car, like, go, 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 go. It looked like they escaped.
Yep. And we don't see what happened to Darcy. We see a bunch of sword peeps get transformed into whatever appropriate costumes and people.
Yeah, but we didn't see what happened to Darcy.
No.
And then it ends. So.
Yeah. But, oh my gosh, it's really good.
So good. I'm still mad at Disney, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to be a part of the movement that's canceling Disney Plus to punish them.
It's not going to happen, just like we weren't going to cancel Netflix.
Yeah. Because I'm weak and because we have kids.
Yeah.
So.
But regardless, solid episode.
Meta and fun. But also, like, good storyline and well done.
Love the Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I can't wait to see what New Rockstars has to say about it. I'm going to have to pee before that.
And get a pre-fill.
Pre-fill.
Same.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
All right.
Peace.